Good morning, all. Today we are planning to do a tech talk regarding on how to improve product quality in new normal by Kavindu Dewpura and myself. So let's take a look at the agenda today. The agenda for today will be what is new normal, plan the testing and how to implement the QA process. This will include the daily reports, conducting of formal test reviews, ensure suitable work environment for the QA team, how we do this in each environment, optimization of regression receive and automation test coverage, report bug effectively, test reporting related to bugs and test execution reports, and finally the final outcome of the project. So when we move to what is new normal, so to begin with, does anyone know what is new normal based on the topic of our tech talk? So what is new normal? New normal is basically how we tend to perform our software QA processes while working from home. So now we are basically used to working from office, but we are using the same technique, but just the environment is changing where we are able to work from home. So this can not only be related to software QA, but also other kinds of work as well. So example, development work and business analyst work. So when working from, we can have many challenges. So let us think of some challenges that can come in our way when we work from home compared to working from office. So let's take some a few things when we work from office. What advantages do we have? So when we work from office, we have basically a direct communication between team members. So example, if you take the development team and the QA team, they are basically having a solid communication between each other. Also knowledge sharing effectively and efficiently. So we can share our knowledge between team members in less time and in an effective manner. Team get-togethers or outings. So when we work from office, we can organize team outings or get-togethers, going out for lunch or etc. or planning events, and also team collaboration and support. So this is something which is very important when we work from office. We have the support of our team members, which is real time. So we get to talk to our members then and there itself and solve matters efficiently. So these are some of the pros when it comes to working from office. But when we work from home, this can sometimes be a big hassle. So to overcome these challenges, how we have done, we have a workaround technique for this for our project as well. So when it comes to direct communication between team members, we can tend to make Google chat groups or WhatsApp chat groups. When we have members in these groups, the whole team can be aware of each other's activities. So we can communicate efficiently and we can have calls as well if it's needed. So therefore, chat groups are very important. When it comes to knowledge sharing, this also can be a very big hassle because we are working from home, because team members don't get to face each other in real time. So to overcome this, when we work from home, we tend to create also WhatsApp groups, also share necessary documentation in shared folders so that every member of our team is aware of what is being passed on as for documentation, and mentioning peers in comments or in mentioning them or tagging them in necessary comments. Then that specific team member is actually aware of what the task is on or how to attend to it. And also when we work share knowledge, we can have a shared document where we can include comments and notes in those specific documents, so that when peer is actually reviewing his or her document, he gets to see which comments we have mentioned him in. When it comes to team get-togethers, this is a big hassle because of the current situation of our country. So in order to accomplish this, we could plan our virtual meetings. For example, where the HR team also organizes open mic day, so where peers and team members, where the whole employees are able to showcase their talents and have a good time knowing each other well. And the last point would be team collaboration and support. This would be kind of hard when we are working from home. So the best way we work, how we do it as a team, is we would always continue to support each other and share knowledge via platforms such as Teams or Meets. So in this way, we are able to collaborate with each other in an open-minded. Therefore, for this session that we tend to have will be effective and not tiring or boring. So these are basically some of the things that are during our project when it comes to working from home. So the bottom line is, like, new normal is basically the process of doing the same thing what we do in office, but in a new method. So the new method is basically working from home. So moving on to the next slide, I will talk about how to plan the testing and implement the QA process. The first slide is basically showing the how to plan testing and implement the QA processes, which we have done in our early stage, in our previous sprint. So basically we have the product backlog where all the user stories are being held in, and we have the sprint backlog where the client picks up the necessary user stories for that specific sprint, and we do our planning and design, and the development team will be doing the development and releasing the final product to the UAT environment. So this is our process we have done in our early stage. So how we have improved this in our next slide is like we have introduced the Scrum practice. Basically, we have introduced the Scrum practice for our project. So in this case, we have a Scrum Master who will be looking after the project, and we have the product owner and the team of the whole team, the QA dev team. So in this case also, we have the product backlog. We have the sprint planning meeting where we plan for the user stories, and we add those specific user stories to our sprint backlog. And usually our sprint will be a 1 to 4 week sprint that will be including of the development and the QA task. And each day we have daily scrum. We continue this process and we have the finished work. So after each sprint is released and finalized, we have a sprint review and a sprint retrospective meeting, where we discuss what we have done wrong, what we have done correctly, and what needs to be improved. So in this case, we can get to know, like working from home, we can get to know how our team members are working on the project effectively, and everyone will be aware of what each other is doing in the project. Moving on to the next slide, we have a few key points when it comes to planning, testing, and of implementing of QA processes. So some of the main key point would be conduct user story grooming sessions and effort estimation. So when it comes to grooming sessions, we can groom on the members and know which member is actually being onto that specific user story, and where all time allocations will be done and completed. We also create our user stories in Azure DevOps. We create our tasks under each user story to maintain traceability metrics, and also we follow the Scrum practice. And last, we include all the relevant information required for a bug when we report a bug. When we move on to the next slide, as you can see in the picture, we have a user story. So this is an example of a user story and its subtask. So as you can see, we have the user story. We have the user stories subtask broken down, and for the QA subtask, we have broken it down into 4 subtasks. We have the analysis, test case writing, review, and the execution. So we maintain our traceability matrix in each of these subtasks, where when we are working on this subtask, we are moving it to the state active, and when we are finished with the subtask, we are basically closing that subtask with the relevant time we have spent on that specific subtask. So this is a basic how we manage our user story along with the subtask. So I will hand over the next slide to Kavindu. Over to you, Kavindu.
So the next key point is conducting formal review. So in this case, I have divided into 3 main phases. So this is really important while we are working from home in this situation, because as an example, when we are coming to office, just we don't need to take the reviews as majorities. That means, so we can go each members and say, so this is went wrong, so this correct it and send it. Then we can go each member and we can say it and correct it. So in this work from home situation, basically we are reviewing from the each and every structure of the test cases, bugs. So in that case, we are reviewing prerequisite ID, prerequisites, test case ID, priority. This is affecting to regression cycle or not, expected result, test description, all the key elements on the test case. So when we talk about the bug, we are reviewing bug summary, attachment, priority severity, those URLs, all stuff are included, because then in one shot we can direct communicate the bug to the developer. So then that is also a communication method to include in this situation. And who reviewed it? So in this phase, normally test case writing for new resources are reviewing by lead or a senior resources. So then we need to make sure the business path is made correctly. For other peers, so we can conducting peer review sessions with each team member and corrective, like we are reviewing with these previous test cases, and what findings and decisions were made during the review process. So in this case, if we have any mismatches between written test cases, we are adding a comment in front of the test case in Excel sheet and we inform them to correct as per the comment given. Most of the time, we are reviewing the mind map to cover the functional behavior. So in the previous slides, that you told that we are dividing the main story to 4 subtasks. So in that subtask, first one is test analysis. So in that test analysis part, we are drawing the mind map to cover the entire story workflow. So in that case, if we identify any errors on the mind map and correct that, so then that junior resource is writing the test case according to that mind map. So those mind maps we are attaching to the common project shared folder. So then the dev team, business analyst also can review those mind maps and do their own work perfectly by minimize the bug count for the each release. So in that case, we are informing in individual Google chat, group chat, development teams, each members, and sometimes we are taking phone calls also. In that case, so the response for each communication method also very important in this work from home situation. And this communication method also we have improved since when comparing to few months back. So then the next slide is ensure suitable work environment for QA team. In this case, we do our functional testing, regression testing, and bug fixes in QA environment. So we have three main environments in this project, and after we move into UAT environment, we are in the stage we are covering experience based testing and some checklists as we agreed with client. So those checklists we are agreed and reviewed by client before we are going to the UAT environment. So then we can test the real business coverage for every story in the project. So in the next slide, we are playing how we improve our test cases in the regression test cycle. So in this one, we have a main regression cycle, and print twice also we have a separate regression cycle, and we have optimized the regression cycle by including RCA analysis test cases, and we have added most break-in areas related to test cases by according to our root cause analysis submodules, and we do execute number one priority test case and can proceed accordingly our regression cycle. So we are executing our experience-based testing in the UAT environment to ensure the real complex business scenarios I have explained earlier. In the next slide, the Isuru, you can explain how we are go through the bug life cycle.
So when it comes to reporting a bug effectively, I think this is the most critical area for a QA member or a QA team member. So basically how it goes is in our project, when we report a bug, we have a state called new. So once a QA member reports the bug, the state will be under new. So therefore we know that till this bug is new status, new state, therefore no one has attended to that bug. Once that bug status goes to active, we get specific development team member has signed that bug for him, assign that bug for himself or herself, and he's currently working on that bug. So once he or she is done fixing that bug in the development environment, they will move it to the next phase called fix not release. When we know that it's on fix not release state, we know that this bug is being fixed from the dev side, but it is not released to the environment yet. So once a build is being given to the QA, once a QA build is being given, these fix not release bugs will be moved to resolve state. Therefore, the QA member is aware all these resolved bugs are being fixed on the QA environment. Basically, at the end, we can select that specific bug and we can verify it, and if it's successfully working and successfully fixed, we can move it to a closed state under the QA member's name. So we know that we have closed this bug and it's under my name. So when we move to the next slide, we will show how a bug is being the standard format of a bug for our project. So basically, top left corner, you can see the bug ID, which is being generated automatically. We have the project name, we have the project module, we mention whether it's a UI bug or a functional bug, and we give a meaningful title for the bug. Also, when we put the bug, we will assign a developer at first. So the bug will be in the new state. For the steps to reproduce that bug, the steps will be very critical for the development because we have to make sure these steps are the reason for the bug to be produced. And as usual, we have we also have any prior any URLs if need, and also email shot and we the priority for that also. So this is basically how we used to do bug reporting in our project. So I will hand over to Kavindu to continue the rest of the presentation.
So actually we are doing our text execution by Microsoft Azure DevOps, and we update this text execution status as real time. So when we are doing our text execution, then every stakeholders know what is our current progress as of now. So since we are adopting to new normal, test reporting is a key structure to implement in this process. So then user no need to ask what are the count now. So what are the failure as of now. So if we go to the test reporting summary, so we can get the actual picture of the project. So for that overcome, we have created set of queries to take each status of reported bugs throughout the dashboard in each sprint as well. When we go to the bug reporting, so after we have bug reported, though we are in progress of the bug reporting, we have created a set of rules. So in this case, the first one is all QA reported bug for each sprint. So in this case, I have as example, I take the sprint 9 of our project. So in that case, we can filter and highlight those reported bugs. Then how many UAT enhancements reported? So there are number of enhancements, and how many UAT bugs reported in the sprint 9. So those key values, we can see the actual picture of the project. In this case, we are sending the update by once in 2 days. So if have any critical stage, we are sending it on daily basis as an email. But all the users can see those dashboards in sprint 5 by logging to Azure DevOps, because those query results are updating in real time. So once we have tested the bug, if we are changing the status as closed, then it's moving automatically to the next circle. So then user get the real picture of the actual project. So when we move to the next slide, we have created a set of matrices also. In this case, we have these matrices format have been finalized by senior management team. Then what we are doing is we are maintain our, and according to our issues, we are input our values. So after that, we are generating some graphs. So those are test efficiency indicator, defect severity index, and defect leakage. So according to these, behind of these, there are some calculation of these. When we go through the all UAT product defects, so as we have improved and implementation our processes during this past few months, so you can see our graphs are little bit enhanced. That means our bug count is less because we have improved valuable processes to our project. So when we go to the identified bugs, that also we have improved. Why? We have implemented mind map and shared with developers. So developers also dev testing by according to those mind maps like that. Then the QA also testing according to the mind maps, and test case coverage also is high when comparing to the previous sprint. In this next slide, we are taking the graph for test efficiency indicator. So when we compare it to the sprint 7 to sprint 9, our QA test efficiency also a little bit high, and the defect severity index also get down, and the defect leakage also we have improved. So defect leakage is found in by UAT bugs divided by QA founded bugs. So that's how we have improved by enhanced the new processes between this new environment as normalization process. We have covered all the enhanced things in our project. Thanks for the participate this session. Thank you very much.